English Language Arts. Character Analysis. Shakespeare's Hamlet. Introduction to Hamlet. Brief overview. Hamlet is the protagonist of Shakespeare's tragedy Hamlet. Prince of Denmark, son of the late King Hamlet and Queen Gertrude. Central conflict. Hamlet's quest to avenge his father's murder by his uncle, Claudius. Relevance of the study. Hamlet is one of Shakespeare's most complex and psychologically rich characters, making him a fascinating subject for analysis. Hamlet's personality. Intelligent and philosophical. Hamlet is a deep thinker, often pondering existential questions. Witty and sarcastic. Uses humor and wordplay to mask his true feelings. Indecisive and hesitant. Struggles to take action despite his desire for revenge. Moody and melancholic. He is prone to depression and emotional outbursts. Hamlet's motivations. Primary motivation. To avenge his father's murder by killing Claudius. Secondary motivations. To uncover the truth about his father's death. To confront his mother, Gertrude, about her hasty marriage to Claudius. To grapple with his own existential doubts and fears. Hamlet's relationships with Claudius. Hamlet views Claudius as a usurper and a villain. Their relationship is marked by tension, suspicion, and eventual confrontation. Hamlet's relationships with Gertrude. Hamlet loves his mother but is deeply hurt by her marriage to Claudius. His frustration with her is evident in the closet scene, Act 3, Scene 4. Hamlet's relationships with Ophelia. Hamlet's relationship with Ophelia is complicated by his feigned madness and her obedience to her father, Polonius. His treatment of Ophelia becomes increasingly harsh as his mental state deteriorates. Hamlet's relationships with Horatio. Horatio is Hamlet's loyal friend and confidant. Hamlet trusts Horatio completely, as seen in his final moments. Horatio, I am dead. Tell my story. Act 5, Scene 2. Hamlet's development. Act 1. Hamlet is introduced as a grieving son, disillusioned by his mother's remarriage. The ghost's revelation sets him on the path to revenge. Act 2 to 3. Hamlet feigns madness to uncover the truth and tests Claudius's guilt with the play within a play. His indecision and philosophical musings dominate these acts. Act 4 to 5. Hamlet becomes more decisive after returning from England. He accepts his fate and embraces action, leading to the tragic climax. Hamlet's flaws. Indecision. Hamlet's inability to act decisively delays his revenge and contributes to the tragedy. Overthinking. His tendency to overanalyze situations paralyzes him. Mistreatment of others. His harsh treatment of Ophelia and Gertrude reveals his emotional turmoil. Hamlet character. The Prince of Denmark, the title character, and the protagonist. About 30 years old at the start of the play, Hamlet is the son of Queen Gertrude and the late King Hamlet, and the nephew of the present king, Claudius. Hamlet is melancholy, bitter, and cynical, full of hatred for his uncle's scheming and disgust for his mother's sexuality. A reflective and thoughtful young man who has studied at the University of Wittenberg, Hamlet is often indecisive and hesitant, but at other times prone to rash and impulsive acts. Claudius character. The King of Denmark, Hamlet's uncle, and the play's antagonist. The villain of the play, Claudius is a calculating, ambitious politician, driven by his sexual appetites and his lust for power, but he occasionally shows signs of guilt and human feeling. His love for Gertrude, for instance, seems sincere. Gertrude character. The Queen of Denmark, Hamlet's mother, recently married to Claudius. Gertrude loves Hamlet deeply, but she is a shallow, weak character who seeks affection and status more urgently than moral rectitude or truth. Polonius' character. The Lord Chamberlain of Claudius's court, a pompous, conniving character. Polonius is the father of Laertes and Ophelia. Ophelia character. Polonius's daughter, a beautiful young woman with whom Hamlet has been in love. Ophelia is a sweet and innocent young girl, who obeys her father and her brother, Laertes. Dependent on men to tell her how to behave, she gives in to Polonius's schemes to spy on Hamlet. Even in her lapse into madness and death, she remains maidenly, singing songs about flowers and finally drowning in the river amid the flower garlands she had gathered. Laertes' character. Polonius's son and Ophelia's brother, a young man who spends much of the play in France. Passionate and quick to action, Laertes is clearly a foil for the reflective Hamlet. The ghost character. The spectre of Hamlet's recently deceased father. The ghost, who claims to have been murdered by Claudius, calls upon Hamlet to avenge him. However, it is not entirely certain whether the ghost is what it appears to be, or whether it is something else. Hamlet speculates that the ghost might be a devil sent to deceive him and tempt him into murder, and the question of what the ghost is or where it comes from is never definitively resolved. Horatio character. Hamlet's close friend, who studied with the prince at the university in Wittenberg. Horatio is loyal and helpful to Hamlet throughout the play. After Hamlet's death, Horatio remains alive to tell Hamlet's story. Fortinbras character. The young prince of Norway, whose father the king, also named Fortinbras, was killed by Hamlet's father, also named Hamlet. Now Fortinbras wishes to attack Denmark to avenge his father's honor, making him another foil for Prince Hamlet. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Two slightly bumbling courtiers, former friends of Hamlet from Wittenberg, who were summoned by Claudius and Gertrude to discover the cause of Hamlet's strange behavior. Asric character. The foolish courtier who summons Hamlet to his duel with Laertes. The Gravediggers. A pair of commoners responsible for digging Ophelia's grave. As an example of a Shakespearean fool, or clown, the gravediggers offer a break from the play's drama by ironically engaging in witty banter as they work. Yorick. A jester who entertained and cared for Hamlet as a child. Hamlet delivers a monologue while holding Yorick's skull in the graveyard, reflecting on the cruel universality of death. Marcellus and Bernardo. The watchmen who set off the action of the play when they first see the ghost walking the ramparts of Elsinore and who summon Horatio to witness it in Act 1, Scene 1. Marcellus is present when Hamlet first encounters the ghost in Act 1, Scene 4 and utters the famous line, "Something is rotten in the state of Denmark." First player, Player King. A member of the acting troupe that comes to perform for Hamlet and the royal court. When Hamlet requests a play whose plot resembles the murder of his father, the first player takes on the role of a king murdered by his greed-driven nephew. Voltimand and Cornelius. Courtiers whom Claudius sends to Norway to persuade the king to prevent Fortinbras from attacking. Francisco. A soldier and guardsman at Elsinore. Reynaldo. Polonius's servant, who is sent to France by Polonius to check up on and spy on Laertes. Thank you.